You should have received the list. If you didn't, I'm still going to ask you them, and you just have to just do your best.
Fly at the seat of my pants.
Just do that. And that's what's going to get posted. You'd be like, oh, man.
Oh,
what?
no. I don't want them to know that.
That's what's happening. And then it's going to be all over the interwebs.
You know, I get to show the human side of myself. Here we go.
Hey, welcome to Getting to Know You. Today we have, you're not a doctor yet. I almost said it. I was like, doctor, but not quite. DeAngela Smith.
Yes.
Associate marriage family therapist. Amongst other things, she has lots of titles that she's working on and doing. My name's Mark Wachahusky. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And we're going to talk about some stuff. You ready to get started?
I'm so ready to get started. Okay. I'm an adjunct professor. I am a doctoral student, and I'm in private practice, and I also see clients in community health. Okay. So I do have a full plate, but I am enjoying it because this is what I went to school for, to live this life of flexibility and be present with everyone. So I've been working with a lot of nonprofit organizations. This is what I live for.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. Why did you want to become a therapist?
Oh, that's such a loaded question for us helpers, right? We have like this big heart. And the first thing we're like, I want to get in this profession because I want to help people. That's normally like the standard reply or response. But mine is a little unique because about 8 years ago, I was actually called into this role. I am a Christian. I am a Christian therapist. And so 8 years ago, being a Christian therapist was so taboo. Like mental health was not talked about. It's a huge stigma. And so when I got called to go back to school to first earn my bachelor's, then go into the graduate program, I still was like, why is the Lord calling me to do this role? Like, nobody's talking about mental health in the churches. It's such a huge stigma. I was being told you can't be advertising yourself as a Christian therapist. There's nobody out there from the Christian community that's looking for a therapist. And so I was like, well, I serve a sovereign God. So this is what he told me to do. So here we are 8 years later.
Wow.
And now we have commercials for people to seek mental health. The stigma is being reduced. The churches are talking about therapists. And I don't feel like I did not mishear God. So I feel really good about myself that 8 years ago, when he told me to go back to school and get inside this industry, and here I am. I'm a Christian therapist. I see people that are from the Christian community and Catholic community, or not even Christian, but they want a therapist that has Christian character. Okay. So that's why I chose this profession. And I've learned along the way that, as I develop this role, that how much of a Christian therapist is needed, because we're dealing with people's deep, deep hurts that they probably won't be able to resolve through just prayer and service. They actually need someone to travel along with them through their deep pain. So that's why I'm here.
That's awesome.
I didn't think I was going to go back to school after earning the master's degree. I was like, I'm done. So the Lord was like, no, you're not. You got something else. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I was off for a year, and I was like, well, Lord, there's just not a doctorate program out there that speaks to what you've called me to do. And he was like, oh, yes, there is. So I kept searching, and the door opened up for me to a program that is called at Liberty University. Okay. It's Doctorate of Education, Community Care, and Pastoral Counseling. And I was like, I had no you know, everyone, after they earn their master's, they tend to go into like a PsyD or a PhD, and mine is a doctorate of education. I'll be done in about 2023.
Okay. Well, I'm loving this, by the way. I don't care if this makes the edit or not. I appreciate, again, hearing all of this and hearing your story and hearing how you got here in the first place. So I'm going to keep trying to move through these questions as best I can. So question number 2 is, if you had the choice and could like handpick clients, what would that client look like?
I get excited about the first generational client.
Okay.
The first one out of their family to go to therapy. That's what I get excited about, because they really come to realize that they're bringing their whole entire family with them, their life experiences, their child experiences into the room with them. And they're dealing with, you know, things in their past, things in their present, but they're also changing their future and the generations before them. So I get excited about the first generational client. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I think, you know, they get to learn about all these unhealthy generational life patterns that they've developed, and they get to take that and use it into something beautiful. So that's where I get excited.
Nice. No, I love it. I love it. And so I'm going to ask this follow-up question, which is question number 3, but it's almost like you answered it with the question number 2, but why those clients?
I think the reason why I like that is because these clients that are first generational clients, they're having courage to come in. They're overcoming their fears. They're coming in knowing that they don't know what's on the other side because they've never been to therapy. So they're open to self-discovery. Yeah. They're open to unlocking the very gifts that's inside of them. So I really get excited that, you know, that they've come in and they've committed to allowing this sacred work to be done between him or her and I in this space. They're allowing me to hold their heart while they discover, while they shape themselves, while they break generational curses, right? Yeah. So I think, I mean, that's why I'm passionate about the field. I don't think people probably look at it as broad as I do, but that's what I get excited about, those first generational clients and them coming in and breaking those generational curses.
Yeah. All right, so here's the part of our journey where we make a very sharp left turn.
Okay.
Just so you know, prepare yourself. I want to know about any talents or hidden talents, gifts, abilities, maybe even hidden likes or hobbies.
The leisure thing that I like to do is spend time with my friends and family, my close friends and family, sit leisurely in the backyard, at the beach, or movies in the backyard. But I do collect teacups. I have a problem.
There we go. So let's talk about this. That's the information I want. That's what I'm looking for.
I have a problem of collecting mugs that have written sayings on them. I have a problem of collecting anything that's tea related, all accessories. I can talk about tea. I go to tea parties. I host tea parties.
What?
I have, you know, teacups, teapots. I have a problem. I do. I just love anything that has to do with being dainty and tea.
Okay, dainty and tea. So I was going to ask about the wording. You said anything like, you said wording on the mugs. Like, yeah, what kind of wording?
I love the little finger sandwiches and the scones and the jam and the creams. Even like with my family, around lunchtime, especially during the lockdown, I would say it's time for tea. We would sit at the table and we would have tea for 30, 40 minutes and just talk about what's happening and digress
Yeah.
and laugh. It's something great about sitting with a cup of hot tea.
The last and final question here at the home stretch is any words of wisdom you want to leave us with or anyone seeking therapy with?
Right now, what I've seen since I've been in this field is that there's not enough of us taking care of ourselves, and we don't see therapy as a way of self-care. If we're always, outside of therapy in our workplaces, in our families, in our relationships, if we're always shrinking down to fit in, it's hard on the body, on the mind, and the soul. If we're always looking back, it's because maybe we don't have something to look forward to. Um, so I would say therapy is a way of having self-care, self-love. And I think that when you come into therapy, you are learning about God's purpose and design for yourself. And you won't have to shrink down to fit in spaces. And you will have something to look forward to when you are learning how to love yourself and live by God's design. So healthy mindsets and healthy relationships begin with you. Right?
Like that. Yeah.
They begin with you. So you deserve to invest in yourself. So that's what I would leave with people. That would be my best advice that I dig from my soul. I'm so excited that God has placed me in this role so that I can just see, He's blessed me to see the fruits of the labor of studying and putting myself in vulnerable state in front of Him and allowing Him to use me. He's allowing me to see the fruits of things that are being sown into their lives, into their family lives. I've had whole families come to therapy.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful sight to see.
I want to know, is it your faith and relationship with God? Is that the driving force that keeps you there? Or just tell me about that. How about that?
Yeah, there's a saying, people say, when God brings you to it, He'll get you through it.
Okay.
Right? And so I'm really close to my 3,000 hours, but the process has been for me really rewarding. There has been times in the middle where I felt like, oh my goodness, oh my God, am I going to ever get to that 3,000? I've had times where I was just like discouraged, but I had realized that my focus was off. I was looking at the wrong thing. My heart wasn't adjusted where it should be. And so I think for me, I've had a practice of being before the Lord in the morning, before clients, and spending that time with the Lord, soaking with Him so that I can be who He's called me to be. And I get my strength from Him. I'm on fire for Him. So when I realized that I was feeling a little heavy because of last year, or feeling discouraged, it was because, hey, I wasn't focusing. I wasn't, I got a little heavy hearted, but here I am. I really believe that, God is going to carry me to the finish line. He got me through grad school. He's getting me through the doctorate program. So my faith has really been the driving force of me maintaining my strength. It's a sacred place, the therapy room. Mm-hmm. Whether you are Christian or not, it's a sacred place because you're holding someone's heart, period. But I think and I'm not trying to chop I'm tooting my horn about the Lord, not myself. But I think what makes a therapist that's Christian unique is because our gifts and talents come from Him. He is the great counselor. So His spirit is in that Christian therapist. Mm-hmm. So we're ordained to do this work.
Thank you very much. We are gonna just wrap it up here because otherwise I'm gonna talk to you all day long, and then
Okay.
and then you're gonna be praying in the middle of our discussion, like,
I'd be like,
Lord,
Lord, would he just
make this end. And I don't want you to do
last
that.
question?
He said last question 25 questions ago. He's not even listening to himself. Anyway.
He's not. Like, what else do you want? I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna give it to you.
So sorry. Yeah, I'll read it. I'll buy it. I'll buy your book. And I apologize. I'm making you think of all the things to write in your book. You're welcome. So you're welcome. I'm just helping you here. That's all.
Thank you. No, this was enjoyable. I'm glad that, we've had this time to do this because there's a lot that, people probably had questions about. What does a Christian therapist look like?
Yeah.
And what does that mean? And this is what it means. I don't throw scripture in through sessions. That's up to my client.
So you're not throwing the Bible at them in the middle of the.
No, that's for Bible study. That's for your church to do. But what makes it unique for a Christian therapist is that when a person is of faith, they're not afraid to bring their whole person in. If their faith is part of their identity and they want to use their faith as part of reaching their goals, then this is their space to talk about it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love it. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Setting aside just a little bit, a lot of it for this great interview. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for inviting me. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm waiting for the day we can actually all hang out. That's really what I'm waiting for.
I know.
All right, well, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, bye.